All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bernard Cana. I'm the editor photographer of the website known as the Photo Pit. Over to my right is my friend Danny Mazzeo. He is the editor photographer of the website known as the Threshold. We are here once again to discuss Blue Ridge Rock Festival artist announcements. Today we'll be covering numbers 50 through 54. That was everything from what day is it? It's Wednesday. So everything from Tuesday up until today, literally to the last drop of the announcements. Unless for some reason they surprise us with number 55. Who knows? We'll see. You excited, Danny, about these grouping of announcements that we got?
I am. I think it's been an awesome 48 hours. I'm really just ready to get this thing rolling. Let's do this.
Okay, let's do this. We'll go as we always do. So as usual, I'll talk a little bit about the more discography history of the band. I'll let Danny throw in his comments and we will discuss as we always do. All right, so number 50 started off on Tuesday morning, I guess it was. This band. Yeah, this band. Formed back in 2005. They're out of Scranton, Pennsylvania. Look, it's one of your not your neck of the woods, Danny, but more of the Blue Ridge Rock Festival neck of the woods, right? They're listed as a heavy metal band. I don't know. I kind of look at them as more alt metal in a sense. Maybe
Yeah,
that kind of, maybe that kind of like Warped Tour metal sound. That's,
yeah,
that type of,
definitely the
right?
Warped metal sound. What I would say, and I'm going to go ahead and just jump in now. What I would say is, depending on whatever news source you pull your bios from, you will
Ah,
find a different definition of the genre. And
yes.
so what is heavy metal to some is pop rock to others, unfortunately. So with that being said, I do think that the Vans Warped Tour type metal is appropriate for this group. So back
I
over to
think
you
so.
on that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it fits their vibe. I think, and that's
Yes.
nothing, and it's nothing bad about them. The only reason I kind of call it out is that there's been such a focus on, the genres and stages that Blue Ridge has been, pushing with the fact of like, having probably a Warped Tour style lineup. But I don't see this band being there. I think these are a main stagers. At
Main
least in my
stage.
opinion, they're
They
going to be on the
they've
main
got to
stage without
be.
any doubt in my mind. Um, any case. So I'll tell you this. This was definitely a fan requested favorite, I'm sure, from last year to come back this year. This band also, and this to me is the huge thing too. This band also had probably one of the craziest sets at Blue Ridge last year. And I
Yes.
remember it oh so clearly. And I remember it oh so well. And it was absolutely nuts. The fans loved it. The vibe was there. The energy was there. And I am a huge fan of this band. The band that we are discussing is Motionless in White. So I know when as soon as that name dropped, I was game on. Let's go. I'm great with this. Let's talk a little bit about just their history music wise. So they've had a couple of band lineup changes over the years with stuff, especially even like there was one recently too, which is the bassist Justin Morrow was originally with Ice Nine Kills and then jumped over to join Motionless in White with their group, which I thought was really interesting. Because I've seen him now kind of in different garb for two different bands, which is, I mean, but like Ice Nine Kills in the last time when they were on tour, they're doing the silent screams, the dressing up on this horror movie
Yep.
style theme thing, right? And he was doing, I can't remember his name, but it was the mannequin from Saw. His makeup was great. And then as a flip, here he was at Motionless in White with a completely different style of makeup on. It was like,
Yep.
it was just wild. So in any case, so I go through a little bit about, our good friends in Motionless. Even though they formed in 2005, they didn't have their first album actually out until 2010, which is now called Creatures. And then in 2012 had Infamous. 2014 was Reincarnate. 2017 was Graveyard Shift, and that's a stellar album. If you haven't listened to that, go give that a listen. And then recently in 2019, they had Disguise, and Disguise had some great singles off of that too. Singles enough that even my daughter liked some of their stuff, and that's not her. Like her style, like at all. Just saying, 10-year-old kid likes Motionless in White. I'm game. I'm good with that. So, tell me from your perspective about our friends here in MIW.
Man, so in complete honesty, this was a band that when they were first out, I did not get. I wasn't a fan. I didn't know, what is it with their stage presence? What are they doing? And I think part of it was that genre just never really set for me at that point in my life. And God, have they grown on me something fierce. Like, have seen them a number of times at this point, and their energy is incredible. Their production is awesome. They command the crowd so beautifully. And just everything about them, I can't say enough good things. This is another band that as soon as the name dropped, I was all over it. And Amanda mentioned that this is actually a Warped Tour band. They are vets from the Warped Tour, so I guess that genre certainly makes sense. But I'm thrilled beyond measure for these guys. Now, I will also say, my 8-year-old is a huge fan of some of their singles on their most recent album. So
That's
I
that's
think
interesting.
we'll have a family friendly set at Motionless in White.
Right? Yeah, there we go. Hang on. I am. You know what I'm looking for, right? Because I'm looking for something. Where is it? Where are they?
Couldn't tell you, but now you mentioned their albums. You did not mention any of their one-offs. So during the pandemic, they did release a cover that I thought was really good.
Of what?
Was it the Killer song?
Um, was it? I can't remember off the top of my
I'm
head, to
trying
be
to remember
honest.
at this point. And for those that are watching and dealing with this, in full transparency, I'm not completely here tonight. I had some surgery this morning, so that was when Bernard was mentioning I may or may not be here. So I'm here, but I may or may not actually be here. So
He's here, kind of.
yeah.
He's a clone.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Getting ready for AI to take over.
All right. Well, I found what I was looking for. So let me
Yes,
let me
somebody told me. Thank you.
all right.
Thank you,
Let me share.
Courtney.
Let me
On
share
point
real
as
quick.
always.
So everyone remember this crazy set? Motionless in White. I mean, the red lighting alone, like I am huge, not a fan normally of red light, and I've learned over years to truly appreciate of what an artist gives you and make use of it. And I love their stuff. I mean, look at Chris's face. It's just
That is spot on.
he is
It's
so
just
spot on. I
spot
love him.
on. These are great, Bernard.
And just like these were fun. I mean, this set was so wild. But look at that's Justin. And I could not have probably gotten a better picture of him that night than that one. It's just I was thrilled to death
That's
over the
awesome.
set. Like just I mean, it's just like, yeah, this set was all red, all orange, and I know I have a photo somewhere of it. If I caught it, I would just have to go really digging for it of pyro galore. Because
That's just
they were
awesome.
throwing it out like crazy that night. It was just like, ooh, yeah.
For
So for them to be
those that
back,
don't know, I'm going to go ahead and share this. So the same way that we fanboy over some of these bands that are announced, I fanboy over a lot of Bernard's photos because I really hope that I can take photos like that one day. So the fact that the fact that he gets to share these with me on this live stream and subsequently with all of you, I have no shame in saying I absolutely love seeing your work. So
thank you.
continue to share as you can, continue to post. I would imagine that it continues to build some hype for others as much as it does for me. So great work. That's enough compliments. I don't want to get build up an ego here or anything for you. So let's keep on moving.
Too late. All right, yeah, let's keep on moving. Right. So, I mean, the thing is, it's with this, just a one last piece of MIW is that everyone, I think, knew and right away, even Blue Ridge, when they put out the post right away, even said it that this was probably the biggest fan favorite, one of the biggest fan favorite sets over last year.
Yes.
And the fact that they're going to come back, they're going to blow the roof off the Virginia
Yes.
International Raceway.
They
I
never
can't
work
wait.
backwards. They
Can't
will
wait.
always one up their shows, and that is
Yes.
just
Yeah,
that
I can't
alone
wait.
should just get you going.
That this to me, I didn't even know or look. I know they're not in the top 13, at least at the minimum, which really surprised me because I
Yep.
kind of felt like they should be higher on the lineup chain, than probably where they are, in personal opinion. But We'll see. All right, let's keep going. So let's talk about then the next band that blew everyone's mind. Because
Yes.
this was also so yesterday. I guess yesterday we only had two, which really surprised me.
Yep.
I was kind of waiting for a third, but it never happened. So this band, 1996, right, was their formation. Out of Boston, Massachusetts, are considered heavy metal. I would even probably say they're more metalcore than that, than heavy, right? I think they're metalcore
Yeah.
by their play style, their vocals. It just that fits their genre a lot more. Um, they have a pretty fairly decent discography, and then in August of 2014, they called it quits. Well, let me not say quits.
Quits.
Indefinite hiatus was the term, right?
That's
That's what
right. That's
most
right.
bands use, right? Because never say never, right? Um,
Unless
they then
you're doing a farewell tour, and then you can say never, but every year you can say never, so that you can continue the farewell tour. So
no,
indefinite hiatus.
bands don't do that. What are you talking about? Anyway, moving on. But then last year, right, December 2021, in their own hometown, they had a reunion show that sold out in minutes, by the way. Like it was just, as soon as it was announced, it was gone.
Yep.
With good reason. And then, what happens from there, who knows? So the band that we're discussing tonight, a band that I was so psyched to see is one of the reunion bands, if I remember correctly, right? They're listed as one of the
Yep.
reunion bands
Yep.
for Blue Ridge, is Shadows Fall. I can't tell you how excited I was for that. I've never seen them live and never had that opportunity, because during that time frame of music, it just never, the cycle never mixed for me in getting to see them. So I'm thrilled about this. Anyway, let's go through their list of stuff. So, discography, like I said, pretty solid and
Extensive.
large,
Yeah.
right? So their first album, 1997, was Somber Eyes to the Sky. Then they had in 2000 through Century Media was One of Blood. In 2002, they then had The Art of Balance, and that was the first of the albums that actually started to chart.
Yep.
Sorry, with some of the artists and details that I'm looking for, I find some of the charting info for some and never for others. Like Motionless and White, I'm sure charts, like their albums probably chart like crazy. I just never have the details in front of me right away to talk about them. Art of Balance charted number 15 on the indie Billboard chart. It sold over 100,000 units, so they're doing something right.
Yeah.
Yep. The War Within was then 2 years later in 2004, also with 20th Century Media. That hit number 1 on the U.S. independent
I
chart.
think that's really when they started to hit a stride, and their name was really getting out there at that point.
Yeah. It also made it to it peaked at number 20 on the Billboard 200. For a heavy metal band, that's
really
impressive.
impressive.
Yeah, it's stupid impressive. Then they had in 2007 Threads of Life, and they had actually got signed with Roadrunner at that point. And that's a big deal. That charted to number 46 on the US Billboard charts. 2009 was Retribution through a label I've never heard of called Everblack Industries. That charted number 4 on the indie, number 35 on the Billboard 200, number 3 on the hard rock chart. So you could see, I mean, they're pushing albums, and they had a huge
and doing well with them. It's not like they're just pushing really albums that flop.
Yeah. The last of their albums, the last album they put out was in 2012. That was Fire from the Sky. And that was under Razor and Tide. You remember that label? Like that's really long time ago. They charted on that one, 38 on the Billboard 200 at the peak, number 10 on the indie, number 4 on the hard rock. And then, after that point, 2 years later, they call it a day and said, we're done.
So their last album was 10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago. Now they also had three. I'm sorry, I was gonna say they had 3 compilation albums also. Yep. 2002 was called Fear Will Drag You Down. 2006, The Fallout from the War, and then 2007, Seeking the Way, The Greatest Hits. So they've had, other things out there outside of just the normal, studio albums. So, now I know you had a lot to talk about with this band, so toss it at us.
Yeah, so this is one of very few bands I feel like I can actually say I've seen and Bernard hasn't. I mean, I could probably count on one hand how many that actually is. So for me, there's some bands that you hear and you just immediately you go to a place in your mind. For me, that's what music's about. And so for Shadows Fall, I saw them. I was in high school. They were playing at a radio show, and I was, front and center of the orchestra pit for that. In college, I saw them. They opened up for Lamb of God and Slipknot.
Ooh.
And that is the moment I hear Shadows Fall, I go to that place in my head, and just the adrenaline of Shadows Fall kicking that show off. And so the moment that dropped, I'm way too old to be going headfirst into the pit, and you can be damn sure I'm going headfirst into the pit. Bring it on. So excitement level to a T. Yeah, I've still got chills just talking about this.
So while you go hit the mosh pit, I rather go hit the photo pit and just stay
Absolutely.
there, anchor myself, and not move.
And that's absolutely fair.
Oh.
Some shows are going to just need to be experienced from within, and that will be one that you can be sure I will be within.
And that's fair. And then
I'm going to ask you for some of those photos.
Yeah, of course. I'm going to look up something real quick on my phone because, excuse me, I was literally listening to them just today again. Where was my list? It was this. And I need to see. They did a cover. There it was. Okay. Yeah, they did a cover of a Pink Floyd song. Did you know that?
I don't know that.
And they did Welcome to the Machine, and it's so good. It is so good.
I bet that is dark.
Yeah, you got to go listen to it.
It's already a dark, somber song.
Yeah,
I could only imagine their spin on it.
Yeah, their spin was good. I was very impressed with it.
That's
cool. As soon as I heard it, I was like, "Isn't this?" It's like, hang on a second. This is Floyd. What's the deal? Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty sweet. Hang on a second. I was running back through the comments for a second. So Megan said that MIW is number 25 on the list. Okay, that's fair. I can go with that. I was just surprised. Like, I'm thinking, like they should be up there. So they're in the top 40. I can deal with that. That's okay for me. Okay. All right. I just had seen that. I wanted to just chat about that real quick. All right. Yeah. Shadows Fall. We keep how we keep like fanboying over like some of these bands that came through, like for me, Ginger was a big one. Seven Dust was a huge one. I mean, Shadows Fall for me is just, I can't even wait. I just can't, because this is for me, like these are one of these bands that, number one, I never thought I'd ever get the opportunity to see. Now I hopefully will. And then the fact of hopefully to get the chance to photograph them. Oh, it's just stoked. I'm so stoked. Can't wait. All right. Enough fanboying. Moving on.
Yeah, unfortunately, you have to wait. We're still 6 months away. So in the meantime, let's talk about what else we've got.
Time machine. Can I have a time machine so we can just jump forward a couple of months?
No.
Okay. All right. Today's announcements. This gets a little weird on the excitement vibe, I guess, for me, but let's talk here. Next band formed in 2005 is the Morning Announcement. Formed in 2005, they're out of LA, California. They have a great set of songs, just songs like you can't forget. You know what I mean? Like singles you always remember.
Yes.
Their most recent album was actually pretty solid. Their live stream that they did this year was hilarious, absolutely hilarious if you hadn't seen it. And they're defined as, I guess, like they're listed as like new metal, but I don't see that. To me, they're rap rock. Like, and like the Limp Bizkit style bands, like that's how I always look at bands like that. Like that's how I say like they fit that gender. They're rap rock. But I will say I really do like this band a lot. I'm excited they're coming. The band we're talking about here is Hollywood Undead. So with this band, let's go through quickly like their albums that they have. Swan Songs came out in 2008, 3 years after they had like gotten together. American Tragedy was in 2011. Notes from the Underground 2013. Day of the Dead, great album, 2015. Five was in 2017, ironically their fifth studio album. And then they had New Empire that they separated into two separate volumes, and they released them at different times during 2020. So it was volumes 1 and 2, and they just had separated them out from like one or the other. And I was trying to find, where was it? They had also on that particular New Empire albums were singles. Idol featured Tech Nine, which I thought was great. That was a nice little matchup. Yeah. Then they had, where was it? The End Undead, that was with 0936, which I thought was pretty cool. And then they had, where's the other one? Heart of a Champion, that had Jacoby Shaddix, Papa Roach. And also Spencer Charnas of Ice Nine Kills is on that one too. And that's a really good single. I actually enjoy that one a lot. If you haven't seen the live, I can't remember the name of the live stream. I just can't remember. And it was just absolutely hilarious. It was like a party house, like literally set inside of a house, like it was someone's home, as like they were having a party.
That's cool.
Like alcohol galore and maybe some other accoutrements of stuff that was in the live stream.
None of which we condone, of course.
Oh, I just couldn't say. It was hilarious. Tell me what you like or not like about Hollywood Undead.
This is a band that I always enjoy. I always seem to forget them when it comes to a personal rotation, but then I'll catch them on the radio or I'll see their name thrown out there. And I'm like, oh my God, like, love them. Like, to your point, like with their singles, especially, it's how could you not be singing along and bouncing along with them? It's just a fun band, a fun show. I need to go and see if I can find any kind of footage on that live stream because that sounds awesome. So,
no, it's great. The live stream is hilarious. It was a lot of fun.
So I'm on board with this one. Aiden, I will not mess this one up. I got lots of positives to say. I need to do a better job of including them in my rotation. I just seem to forget. So I'm corrected. Aiden, you've got me in line. Bernard's got me hyped up. This is a band I definitely want to check out. They've not disappointed me yet.
And the one thing I will say about Hollywood Undead, for those who haven't ever listened to their music or seen them, is that they vary in their music. Like we talk about them like as a party type band, but that's not just them. And that's really the kind of the cool thing about them. It's like Heart of a Champion is like really heavy. It's got that, that energetic vibe you just like, with it. But then you have stuff like Undead, like the actual single, which is like really just kind of throw down type music. I mean, they just vary from like fun light stuff to fun heavy stuff to serious heavy stuff. And they're just and live, they're so entertaining. And that's the thing I really love about them.
I think you're really hitting it there too. That even when you were talking about their collabs, right? Like, they are just all over the map with what they can do. And they really showcase that dynamic ability just beautifully. And not a lot of bands can successfully do that. And I would say that they absolutely have cemented their place by doing so.
Yeah, and it's just there, and I think that's what I really love about them is just that variety of like you just never know what you're going to get in a set list because it just depends on what they're playing. So
exactly.
The only thing I would say that I don't want to say it disappointed me because I kind of liked the shtick is they got rid of their masks, and I really did enjoy the fact that you kind of didn't know who they were. And that they had their faces covered up as part of that, that costuming and that presence on stage. And then like when I see the live stream, like, and all of them like are just completely just normal. I was like, oh, but I kind of wish like they would keep that going. But music.
I'm disappointed by normal people too, Bernard. Don't worry.
Oh, I have no words to you, sir. None.
I'll blame the surgery. Let's keep on
rolling. All right. No, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, this next one, straight out of left field, Blue Ridge Rock Festival. I tell you, it's like I'm just laughing over it because it was so outrageous when this got announced. but yet it's so wonderful you just couldn't even imagine, because it's so far out of left field to have this happen. All right. A duo, 1994, and people would define them as comedic rock. And when I say like comedic rock, I don't want to say like I look at the Steel Panther style, because that kind of is, but it's not. You know, like Steel Panther likes to put on a show with some of their stuff, but they got some actually really like music. This is more like comedy style,
Right.
music stuff when they do their live and whatnot. It's just, oh, I just couldn't tell you. They don't have many albums, like actual, albums out, but man, their presence in music. If I remember, I saw correctly, they're multi-Grammy nominated or winning, which just blows my mind. It's like they won Grammys? What? So anyway, and it's multi-platinum, like their album, like a number of their albums went platinum, because I'm not just shocked by this like whatsoever. The band, the duo that we're discussing here is Tenacious D. Jack Black, Kyle Gass. I mean, how does, like, I just didn't see this coming.
Bring
Just that simple,
them on. Oh my
right?
god. I am so yeah. Like
Yeah.
I thought I was excited about some of these other announcements. This is a band I didn't know how badly I needed to be on a festival like this. This is going to be just absolutely amazing.
Just blew my mind. And wait, no, I'm sorry. I was correct. They are not only Grammy nominated, they also were award winning. 2015 Best Metal Performance. Is that even for the song "The Last in Line"? Yeah, there you go.
And
Anyway, um, talk quickly about the discography, because it is unfortunately very small in a sense compared to other artists, and is how big as they are to have such few, but still with such a humongous presence. Um, Self-titled came out in 2001, called Tenacious D. The Pick of Destiny, which was a massive blowout album for them, came out in 2006. Rise of the Phoenix in 2012, and then Post Apocalyptico in 2018. And just, there you go. And I think everyone, if anyone of you know a song from them, it's the song that I can't pronounce or say on air because, for vanity, of F Her Gently. And
I
that's
was going
more
to
than
say,
enough
surely
said.
you can gently share it, right? Like,
I just did. So there, well, I mean, but that's the song. If anyone knows, Tenacious D for anything, it's that single. It's like, holy crap. And here we go. Yeah, I don't know. What do you, what were your thoughts on this when you saw that announcement drop?
hell yes. Those were my thoughts. Just hell yes. So their talent, I think, it their talent alone is just amazing, and what they do with it to do their music is just, it's like, yeah, we can go out and do other more stereotypical albums and music, but no, that's not who we are, right? Like that's
Yeah.
not their personas, that's not what they do. And so this is just, I'm ecstatic, absolutely ecstatic. And I'm hopeful that Jack Black especially can kind of meander through the crowd at some point
Oh
and
my
just
God.
do Jack Black things.
I
I
just don't even
just
know how that's even be possible, because he will get like mauled by
I
40,000 plus
know,
people.
but I'm hopeful. Like he is just so known to do such off the wall things anyway. So yeah, I will be front and center for that set. I
Yeah.
cannot wait.
And Amanda called out something that, I didn't touch on, is the fact that they did have an actual film that was released called The Pick of Destiny, hence the album title. And they performed that, at the American Music Awards, on, late night TV shows for the single Pick of Destiny, because, it helped support the film. But they were like involved in a lot of films even way prior to that. And let me just kind of
Oh yeah.
throw a ton of different ones at you here. Biodome in 96, Cable Guy in 96, Cradle Will Rock in 1989, Saving Silverman in 2001, Shallow Hal in 2001. And they contributed to the cartoon anime film, one of my favorite films too, of Kung Fu Panda, because Jack Black played the main role.
And was fantastic in it.
I
It was
love it.
perfect.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Perfect.
I loved it. And I'll admit, I have not been a huge fan of their music. I will openly say that. I just haven't. I don't know why. It's just I don't know. Maybe it was this the comedic style is like not enough for me like to want to dive into it. But I will say I was excited as hell when they announced this because I was like, what a just it's such an off the wall and fantastic ad to the festival because over the past, I mean, how many times have they played a festival? I know I'll say this. I know there's a tour, like they're on tour now. Like they're going to be on tour as part
Right.
of this, you know, playthrough in September when they come see us at Blue Ridge. And they're going to another festival, which shall not be named. But how often have they ever played festivals? I'm sure they probably have once before, but it's not frequent, like at all.
At all. At all.
Like at all. So this is kudos, Blue Ridge.
Yes.
Kudos. Yeah, you nailed this one right on the head. I mean, that you could not even they couldn't even just think of a better like thing to throw out as at the fans. It's like fantastic, just fantastic. Amanda says here.
Shared a really cool fact that hopefully won't disappear on me, but apparently Jack Black's mom was an engineer for NASA, went to work to fix some codes, and went to the hospital and gave birth to him. So
follow her for more facts from a company we can't say on the air because that would be like endorsement or something, and we don't do that.
Yeah, we're not looking to endorse, but we are looking for amazing things, and that is
yeah, that's cool. That's a cool one. And think about that. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I may not be like the biggest following fan of Tenacious D, but damn, I was excited when that announcement dropped. That's
gonna be
blow my mind. Like that's great.
In much like what Blue Ridge is about with the fans,
I'm
just like imagining the crowd and their engagement for Tenacious D.
You know who I feel bad for?
Is going to have an amazing time.
You know who I feel bad for? Any band that's going to be playing anywhere near that set time.
Yes.
And that's sad to say, yeah, because I'm sure it's going to be all hands on deck at that one. Oh, and they did mention that they are headlining, right? This is one of the headlining bands.
I believe so.
They were mentioned as such, so there it is.
And, you know, just going back to your comment about feeling bad for the other bands, I would feel bad for the other bands because if I was in a band and I was any good, I would want to be watching Tenacious D versus playing on stage. Like, I'm like, no, like here, whatever. You guys keep doing this. I'm going to go check out Tenacious D.
Yeah, exactly. I feel bad for us in media because that's going to be like the stage where like everyone's going to want to come to shoot and it's like everyone's going to be trying to like crowd as close as you can to go see him. Like, I remind me to tell you personal stories about last year's and stuff like that. About that. Anyway, all right. Last announcement of the day. So, a band came out in 1985 under the name of 67 North. They then eventually changed their name, according to it says here, to Big Blue Monkey in 1998, and then changed it again in 2002. They're a rock band out of St. Louis, Missouri. I would probably put them in this. I don't want to say like emo, but like they fit to me along the same lines of Hawthorne Heights. However you would define them, I think you throw this band in that same genre. I think definitely in the sense of one of the Warped Tour style bands.
All day long.
Right? Was this
all day long.
All day long. Right. And the band that we are talking about here is Story of the Year. I actually will say I really did like this announcement. I think that's a great ad. There's solid rock stuff. And let's quickly go through their discography, which is smaller than I actually thought it was. I thought it would be bigger, believe it or not. Page Avenue came out in 2003. So obviously after the time they've changed their names around a few times, but finally they decided Story of the Year. Their first album was known as Page Avenue. It was 2003. 2005 in the wake of Determination. 2008 was The Black Swan. 2010 was The Constant. And then their most recent was in 2017 titled Wolves. And what's interesting about that is that it makes me kind of feel when they are going to hit Blue Ridge, could we potentially be seeing new music from them?
That
Hmm.
would be
Right? That would be cool. It's about that time. And they
yeah.
recently just played here in Orlando at the Kraken Fest in February. So, but the one thing I wanted to call out is what they said in the announcement is that this is the first time they're playing up in this area for Blue Ridges, like South Carolina, Virginia. I can't remember the other two states where that they listed. Since the first time since 2013. It's like they haven't been up
It's
that
been a
way in over
minute.
9 years.
It's been a
So
minute. Yeah.
go figure that one out. That makes no sense to me, but okay. So, in any case, they're coming. Story of the year. What do you got?
So this is a band I definitely dig. A band that I was not overly familiar with until I met my wife, who was a huge fan
Okay.
and kind of forced me down that rabbit hole of listening to them more than just their couple of radio songs. And because the songs that I did know were a little bit more on the softer side, and I started going through their albums and realized that no, they're not just about a catchy song. They're not just about some of the softer stuff. They hit.
Yeah.
And so yeah, this was one. As soon as the announcement came out, normally I'm texting all my friends. I'm trying to share it online. Like, this is who's just announced. No, this one went straight to my wife. So yeah, very happy about that.
Which means now you'll have to drag her along so she could see them at Blue Ridge.
God willing, yes, that would be the plan.
There you go.
And I
There you
appreciate
go.
you being able to watch the kids while they're on. So thank you for that.
I see what you did there. I
Hey,
see what you did.
no, you're a good friend, and I appreciate that, Bernard.
My oh my. Any case. Yeah, I thought it was, yeah, I like this. I like this edition. It's once again that variety that Blue Ridge Rock Festival showing of, we're not just gonna stick to the rock, we're not gonna just do heavy, we're gonna do this very eclectic mix of various stuff. I mean, just alone Hollywood Undead, Tenacious D, Story of the Year, you get to see three completely different genres of music that are all being discussed at that point. So
That's right.
yeah, yeah, I like that. Great ad. Great ad. So that was unfortunately the last announcement we had discussed today for the artist stuff. Made me sad.
Sad.
We're a band short. We should have had 6. So what happened? I don't know. Maybe Amanda can tell us what happened. Amanda, got
We're waiting
anything?
on you.
Why are we a band short?
You know what? We may be a
That's all I
band
want to know.
short, but we're still 100 and how many to go? I would say we're doing all
Oh,
right.
are you gonna make me do Blue Ridge math?
No, that's why I said
No.
100 and how
Okay.
many. I'm not doing math tonight. You're lucky I'm doing words tonight.
He said technical difficulties. That's right. Sorry. Okay, great. So, let's touch upon one other thing real quick. So remember, if anyone had seen from Monday, the insanity post of all of these artists that are asking, emote, react to their name on that, on that post to get them a chance to be in the top 10. And if they are in the top 10, the Blue Ridge staff is going to pick one of the top 10 to have a paid spot at the Blue Ridge Rock Festival. So if you haven't looked at it yet, go find it. It's definitely from Monday. You can just go to the main Blue Ridge Rock Festival Facebook page. Just scroll down a bit through the announcements. You'll find it right away. Right now, it had at last check over 7,700 comments.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But at least
Palandra actually responded to mine. They literally responded
nice.
back to me. I thought
That's
that was
all.
pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I
I
have started
mentioned,
going through the comments. I have not made it through more than 100 at this point, unfortunately. But I like to because the amount of talent that's in there is stacked. So whether they're at Blue
it
Ridge or not,
is. Gosh.
this is a great opportunity to at least start skimming through some new music, broadening horizons, and hopefully setting the tone for a lot of bands to come. So that, if nothing else, I'm pumped for that post alone.
I will I'll call out a few bands that I noticed at the top of the list of like bands that had like really big numbers. Roachzilla was kind of up there, from last year. Obviously they were a fan favorite. Palandra was actually in there too. They were at like 150, 160, I think, last time I
That's
checked.
awesome.
But the one that kind of shocked, I will admit, I think it shocked me, but I think it's because they're also very, internet engaged and heavy is our friends in Fate Destroyed. They had over 300 plus emotes on theirs at this point. I was like, they may be back again based on what I'm seeing so far. So I have to go take another look. But yeah, I encourage, if you haven't yet, go looking through that post just so the music, like for bands you've never heard of, you get a chance to see some new bands you maybe not have ever listened to before, and go listen to a single or two. I like Danny's idea with that, to go skimming through to find some new music. Like if you don't know who Fate Destroyed is, if you missed them last year, go check them out. They're heavy, like super heavy. I didn't check to see if Dying Oath was in there, and Dying Oath last year, holy crud, that band drew such a crowd to the stage that they played, and I can't remember which specific one it was. It was one of the smaller stages, but man, they had such a crowd there. I was like, holy crud. You would have thought like they were like one of the mid-carters, at that point, because there was just so many people there. It was incredible. And they were just a fantastic band, and the nicest people too. I interviewed them as part of the series of interviews of Rising Talents that I did, and they were great.
That's
Love
awesome.
them to death. Yeah, hopefully they make it back again. So we'll see. In any case, why is Aiden saying no one will listen to me? About what?
He wants Aerosmith. I know they're a newer band. They don't have a following. I get it.
Aerosmith. Like that would be
that was the first concert I ever saw, actually, was Aerosmith with Johnny Lang.
Is it really? That's interesting. It was. The first concert I've actually ever saw, this one is going to throw people for a loop because I'm old, remember that, was Def Leppard on the Hysteria tour. That was back in 1986. I don't think Amanda was born yet. And they had with them,
right, so
and they had
got that going.
And they had opening for them Queensryche during their Operation Mindcrime album.
Oh, that's amazing.
I couldn't have asked for a better concert to kick it off with. And then here's the crazy one. And people now are going to be like, okay, this is nuts. My kids' very first concert that they ever got to go see was Iron Maiden with Ghost opening for them. I spoil my children.
That's outstanding.
Spoil my kids. Yeah.
So we got a lot of first comments.
Susan said she saw Elvis. That's cool. I admit I am jealous. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Megan says Spice Girls was her first. Melindy says Black Sabbath. That's a first. Wow.
That's a great one.
That's a great first. That's an excellent first. Toys in the Attic. Oh, okay. It's cool.
Def Leppard with Two Arms End with One. So Brian.
Oh, that's before me. Yeah, that'd have been before me. Because he already had the accident, unfortunately, already happened when on the Hysteria tour. So you got them before me. Where was it? Amber says Pantera was her first. That's a first.
That's a good one.
That's a killer first. I love that. Aiden says Bush. What? You're a youngin', Aiden, if Bush was your first. 96. He is a youngin', yeah. 96. Bush.
Maybe he's saying it was in 96 that he saw them.
Oh, well, yeah, still, right. Even if it is 9, but still, I mean, Bush is a fairly recent band, like early 2000s we're talking about, and that was, if that's his first concert, right? I mean, that's still still a youngin' to me.
Oh, Aiden's 42, so he's got this.
He's still a youngin' to me.
Well, he's old to me, so get over it.
Let's see. Kevin said Beach Boys was your first concert. That's pretty cool too. Yeah.
In Hunt, Springsteen outside of Stone Pony for Courtney.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Anything Stone Pony. I mean, that to me, that's just an icon. Stone Pony, you got 930 Club in DC, you got CBGB. There are just some absolute iconic venues that
the Ritz in New York when it was still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tesla
Remember,
played there. Tesla. Here's an interesting fun fact I'll share with you. It's stuff I actually know. So when Tesla was doing their 5-man acoustic tour, when they were doing their acoustic album tour, well, not acoustic album tour, when they were doing acoustic from songs in their first and second album, they went on a tour with it and then recorded an album off of it. The original recording was supposed to be done at the Ritz in New York. The problem was they couldn't use it because Don Donkin was there and showed up and came on stage to play with them. So obviously
wow,
they couldn't use the recording because,
yeah,
surprise guest unexpectedly.
wow,
Yeah. So they actually, if you ever look in the insert, if you ever had like the cassette, which I had at one point, the insert actually shows on it originally recording like the Ritz and it's crossed out. And then the next show that they
wow.
did, which I want to say was in Pennsylvania or something, was when they did the actual recording of that acoustic show. And that was
That's
a killer show. Killer show. And
that.
and you know what? And I'll say it. I'll be the first to say it. That is a band I would love to see at Blue Ridge. When we talk about, once
Oh
again,
yeah,
remember I mentioned classic bands, right?
yeah.
That would draw crowds just because these songs. Tesla these guys are in their 60s. I've seen them and photographed them at least twice, and they still have it today. And they're fantastic. I would love to see them play Blue Ridge. That would be an awesome ad.
That would be a
Just saying.
fun
Just
thing.
saying. Yeah. Yeah, that would be fantastic. Yeah, there's just like so many other ones. See, even Brian agrees with me. He even says it.
As he should. It's a great band. It would, and they would be a perfect ad for the vibe that this festival is. It's
Yeah,
not.
I mean, because
It's
they're
not
solid rock. Yeah, they're solid rock, and I
exactly.
think it'd be great. I mean, besides like even like the ballad love song. Who doesn't know that? I don't care what age you are. Who doesn't know love song?
That's right.
Yeah. See, Susan even says they tour like crazy, and they do. They still tour like crazy. I did learn they all have individual buses, which I thought
Wow.
was interesting. Yeah, I thought
Wow.
it was interesting. They all have individual buses. One of I can't remember his name, but they have a new guitar. It's like it's an add-on to like the band original formation that they
Mhm.
had. And he came out like after a show at the House of Blues. We were chit-chatting with them, and he was like, "Yeah, Frank and them wanted to come out, but they just rather all hang out in their individual buses." I was
Wow.
like, "That must be nice.
Yeah. What a
Must be
problem to
nice.
have.
What a problem to have." Yeah. So yeah, someone go text Jonathan, call him or something. Tell him we want Tesla. Tell him I want Tesla.
That's
I'll
right.
I'll
Will
I'll
somebody
stick
just
with
tag
that.
Jonathan and Tesla in the same comment on this, and let's see if we could help make that connection.
I will put it in the fan zone as soon as I'm done here. I will post that.
Oh,
Like
that's
I feel
awesome.
we need Tesla at this festival.
Bring it
John, and I'll
on.
tag Jonathan too, just
There you
because.
go.
And then someone will get mad at me because I tagged him.
Exactly. So what are you doing?
Don't do
So,
that. The guy gets enough tags as it is. So
oh my God,
all
you're
right.
right. You're
All
absolutely
right.
right.
What did we have anything else we need to touch base on with the festival? Any reminders about things we want to go over? Like the
I think
lineups, right?
we need to just give our mandatory stay on top of the lineup at BlueRidgeRockFest.com. Head over to the official Blue Ridge Rock Festival page on Facebook. You will get the latest artist drops there. Everything does get shared at the Blue Ridge Rockfest fan zone with amazing moderators and admins. Thank you guys for your patience,
We appreciate you.
particularly as these announcements keep dropping and things are getting more and more energetic and hyped. The Blue Ridge Rock Festival is once again September 8th through the 11th at Virginia International Raceway in Alton, Virginia, happening over the course of 4 days with 5 stages, 171 bands, give or take a few, thanks to Blue Ridge Math. With a pre-party, with a club experience, tickets are on sale. They are going very fast, which is really awesome. This thing is going to sell out. So if you haven't gotten tickets, please do. And
Yeah.
as always, thank you for hanging with us. Bernard, do you have any additional closing remarks for us?
I'll make one closing remark. So I started a conspiracy on on the fan zone today. it blew up enough that they requested to stop talking about My Chemical Romance.
And therefore, Christina has made that mention in our comments as well. And
Yeah,
Courtney,
see, shut
if
up
I
about
see one
MCR.
more MCR. Oh, yes.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, guys.
Totally
Just had to
get
throw
that.
it out there because I did.
Believe me.
because I did. Wasn't intentional to start the conspiracy, but apparently I did unintentionally. So, sorry about that.
Hey,
Maybe.
it's all good. It's all in fun. Ladies and gentlemen, for those that are watching, we intend to be back on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right at the Photo Pit again, brought to you by Photo Pit in the Threshold. So Bernard, as always, thank you for letting me be aboard with you tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. And for those of you who, if you haven't liked either of our pages yet on Facebook, please do so. Share that out with your friends. The more people we get here, the more, engagement we'll keep doing. We love the engagement. We love the fact that, you guys come to sit with us and watch over and chat and talk, and we're happy to have you here. So please share this out, as much as you can. I would love to see this grow up and grow out and bloom and explode and, whatnot. Danny and I had some earlier discussions about things we may do in the future, but in order to do that, I think we need more engagement before we'll pull something off. But we have some things in mind. So help us grow as best you can. We appreciate everyone who keeps coming here. We want to grow though. We want to get this, get the word out, talk to more people and get more engagement and get more points of views from the things that you drop in the comments. So please do if you can. We appreciate all the shares and stuff that you've been doing. But with that in mind, anyway, but thank you everyone once again. We'll be back on Friday, as Danny said, at 8 p.m. Danny, once again, thank you for coming. Appreciate you, especially after what you went through today. So absolutely appreciate it. And we will see everyone on Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Take care.